So Kawhi Leonard isn't even playing basketball right now, and he's still getting into drama. So Kawhi Leonard, apparently, this at least for this one here, I will say this. This is not quite Kawhi Leonard refusing to play like in 2018 and asking out, and this might have nothing to do with Kawhi, but it says here a former LA strength and conditioning coach has sued the team, alleging wrongful termination in part for raising concerns about the management of Kawhi's health and injuries, according to a copy of the lawsuit obtained by ESPN. So, the one thing I will say is that, like, when you look more into what they said was mismanagement of Kawhi Leonard's injuries, it was basically that they didn't load manage him last year. And, like, look, we know Kawhi will refuse to play if he doesn't want to play. But, yeah, so I don't really know that one. Honestly, I have no idea when it comes to, like, to that one. But he said it was, like, illegal treatment for injuries. I don't know what an illegal treatment for an injury is. Like, what's your man's name? Your man Brian Sutterer, who is obviously a doctor. But this is something that I'd be very, very concerned about. Well, not concerned about, but I'm like, so this is part of the lawsuit. Kawhi Leonard suffered a right ACL tear and underwent surgery in July 2021 and sat out the other season. So basically, they gave him from July till October out. They gave him 15 months off. Shelton said the recovery target for Leonard, who has suffered numerous injuries previously, should have been 2 years. But the Clippers considered that unacceptable. I'm sorry, they're paying him $100 million. They're paying him $100 million. 2 years? And I will say this. If Kawhi's knees were in a spot that they were so bad that it was 2 years out with injury, then that he should have been out for 2 years, then if I was the Clippers, I would have shopped him. I wouldn't have given him the extension. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Kawhi Leonard signed a contract in 2021. Like, yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure Kawhi... No, it was last year. If I'm not mistaken, did Kawhi Leonard not sign a contract that summer? Like, so he signed a previous one. Is there any way to check the previous contracts? 21 to 2024, yeah. So, like, Kawhi... They gave Kawhi a contract expecting him to sit out a year. They said it was unacceptable. Like, something's fishy here. Something is actually fishy here because if Kawhi was out for 2 years, the Clippers just wouldn't have given him the contract. They wouldn't have given him a 3-year deal. I'm not joking. Like, the Clippers gave Kawhi a 3-year deal. And, like, he said 2 years out. I've never seen someone being out for 2 years for an ACL tear. First of all, in hindsight 2020, the Clippers should not have given Kawhi either of those long-term deals. They should have just said, you know what, we effed up in 2021 and let him walk. Let him walk and rebuild. Well, to be fair, they didn't really have their picks, did they? But, yeah, so that is one thing that is kind of confusing. But obviously, ex-Clipper staff says he was sued for Kawhi Leonard concerns. But there is a bigger issue here. And it's not about the injuries. Like, the injury thing is, like, I don't actually know. It says Mr. Shelton's claims were investigated and found to be without merit. We honored his employment contract and paid him in full. The team said this lawsuit is a belated attempt to shake down the Clippers based on the accusations Mr. Shelton should know are false. Through a spokesperson, the NBA said it was unaware of the lawsuit. In the lawsuit, Shelton said the Clippers first contacted him in 2017, by the way, after Leonard, who was then under contact with the Spurs, suffered severe ankle injury in Game 1 of the finals, or in the West Conference Finals. That's weird. That is a weird one, because Kawhi Leonard wasn't going to the Clippers unless they had Paul George. So they contacted him 2017. Like, that's the worst thing, by the way. That is the worst thing about this. And the fact that the guy's seeking damages at trial means, like, I don't know. Like, this just sounds crazy. And by the way, I think every single team tampers to an extent. I think every single team tampers. So one of the funniest parts is that, like, it says in the lawsuit that the Clippers personnel attended 3/4 of regular season games the Raptors played in 2018-2019. That's more games than Kawhi played. Like, no, this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up. While Kawhi remained under contract with the Spurs, Shelton said a Clippers executive contacted him to seek private medical information about Leonard and expressed the need for discretion. The two sides spoke approximately 15 times on the phone and had at least 7 meetings, according to the lawsuit, as the Clippers sought to learn more about Leonard's contractual obligations to Spurs and his medical situation. In June 2018, Spurs president acknowledged the team was willing to explore all of our options as Leonard had grown disgruntled. The Clippers could have, without question, offered better than what the Raptors gave them. Clippers were one of the teams that sought to acquire Leonard, but ultimately traded the Raptors. Maybe not. In conversations, Shelton said the Clippers executive discussed bringing Shelton into the Clippers organization as a strength and conditioning coach, given the personal relationship and trust that Leonard had in Shelton. After he left San Diego State, he was hired by Leonard to help him prepare for the NBA. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you're the strength and conditioning coach for the most injury-prone player, arguably, one of the most injury-prone superstars in the history of the sport, that's not the greatest thing for your CV. Shelton alleges that the Clippers' recruiting efforts were in disregard for the NBA's prohibition on tampering. Like, what relevance does this have, by the way? Like, that's just being, like, he's just snitching. If this is true, first of all, the numbers don't even add up. The team was fined $50,000 in May 2019 for Doc Rivers' public comments. I'm pretty sure Doc Rivers was on, like, ESPN, and he was like, and he said something along the lines of, like, Kawhi's had the best playoff series since Michael Jordan. He's most similar to Michael Jordan. Like, I'm sorry, he was on TV. Just don't have coaches on TV. Like, if this is all true, by the way, if this is all true, the Clippers are fucked. And I mean this. Like, this reads like a disgruntled employee trying to tear down an employer, or someone in Kawhi's entourage trying to get Kawhi the hell out of there. It's one of the, it sounds like, reads like one of those two things. And it could well be one of those two things, for all I know. Like, for all we know, it could be. This could be the Kawhi Mayer of 2024. This is like the get me out of here. You know, I'm not playing, I have a knee injury, and then as soon as he gets traded, he's going to start playing again. Like, this could be the get me out of here. You know, when I signed this deal, I didn't think I was going to have to be playing with 35% from the field, James Harden, and no Paul George. But, yeah, so let me know what you guys think. I think this reads weird. Like, you're even hearing doctors being like, they've never heard anyone say 2 years out for an ACL tear. You're seeing doctors being confused about some of the information that was given. And it just, for me, I'm like, it really does seem like something that maybe the Clippers organization didn't like what the trainer said. But maybe it's just a trainer being far, far too cautious. Because I'm sorry, like, the Clippers gave him a contract. What could well have happened is Kawhi Leonard got the contract, got the surgery immediately after getting the contract, and then the agent just the strength and conditioning coach goes, yeah, he's not playing for 2 to 3 years. When it's a given, ACL tear is out for a season. They gave him the contract with the assumption he was going to be out for a season. That could have happened. And that would obviously piss off the Clippers. Like, they've invested $100 million into somebody to not play basketball for 2 years, even though they have a 1 year time frame injury. And you could also say in bad faith, it could have been in bad faith that they were trying to say 2 years because, like, well, we just gave him a contract. We don't know when exactly the contract or when exactly he got. Actually, we can find that. So Kawhi Leonard in 2021 on August 12th. Okay, no, that's weird. Like, he signed the contract after the surgery. So that's just not the case. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the trainer said 2 years and they were like, cool, we're not going to give you a contract. We're not going to give you the long-term deal then. And then the trainer then said, okay, yeah, 1 year. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't read the best for the trainer, I'm not going to lie. Like, you would think that this would make the Clippers look really bad. Like, they said with the Spurs in 2018, which obviously Kawhi winning made the Spurs look really bad. For me, this reads like the Clippers let them sit out for 15 months. The Clippers were being cautious. They were being cautious. Not like 2 years out cautious, but they were being cautious with him. And then part of the thing is that, like, then they went and snitched on tampering. Like, what does snitching on tampering have to do with mistreatment of Kawhi Leonard's injuries? He's just looking for money. That's what it seems. From me reading it, that is the opinion that I have come out with. Again, I am completely willing to change my opinion based on new information. Obviously, you can be wrong, but that's just the way it seems, honestly. And like, I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan as a player. I don't particularly like the Clippers, but this doesn't look that like. This reads like a disgruntled employee more than it reads like something the Clippers did wrong.